Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday so far. I am losing my voice, so don't mind me being all raspy over here. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me go through here. Last time I blocked all the note takers, but it looks like there's still AI is defeating me and they still make their way in here. So let me go through and start taking some of those out. If anybody has any recommendations on how to chop down these AI note takers coming in, y'all let me know. Give me some feedback because I just don't want them to be blowing up all your inboxes. But happy to have you guys here today. I'm excited. Casey's actually going to be joining us this morning. He'll be here for the first 15 minutes. So we'll get to talk to Casey a little bit. And then we'll kick things off with Asher once he's in here as well. I want to first start off before Casey gets going. Does anybody have any questions? How was this weekend for you guys? Do you have any roadblocks when you guys are out there finding deals? Tell me where you're at so I can help you guys. Sorry, I got kicked out. I want to make sure I'm meeting you guys where you're at. So while we're waiting for Casey to come in here, let me know where you guys are. Are you stuck anywhere? Is it going great? And you guys have some leads queued up for us today? Feel free to come off mute and let me know. And if not, we'll step right into it.
Yeah, awesome. 31 people already, and it's not 31 note takers, so that's good.
Hey Casey, I was just warming them up, letting them know that you're hopping in here for the first 15 minutes today. And then we were just diving in. If anybody had how's things been since Problems with Profits to today? How's it been finding deals? Is anybody getting any roadblocks? Where are we at so I can help them get unstuck?
Perfect. Awesome. Good. Well, anybody else? Okay, we got one from Tanya. Anybody else? I'll do Tanya's in a second. And then guys, I'm going to show you, well, if you're stuck, we're about to show you how to get unstuck today. I know a lot of you guys were on Problems to Profits the other day. We've got I want to do more deals with you guys, and I think what I'm about to show you will help you find the right ones. I know I've been there, guys. I've been there before where you're like calling leads, cold calling lists, and just like not getting traction. And me and Ashley just talked, me and Ashley and Buck and Asher, and we're all collectively talking about this. We're like, why don't we just make it so much easier and just let's go find the people who are already finding the deals, and let's go be the Robin Hood or the Superman and save their deal because we can go do the revive method on a deal that they can't already move. So I'm going to show you guys exactly. I've got 2 calls already set up today. Hopefully, I think they'll both answer, and I'm going to show you exactly how to talk to the wholesaler and how to present this. All right. So we're going to do that. But any other ones, Tanya, on yours, awesome. We'll get you finding some. And then the deal you sent, which email did you email that one to, Tanya, that you haven't heard from? You can pop in the chat if you want. Good wholesale people. Okay. No worries. I just want to make sure we don't miss it. Because the other big thing is we've always it's an awesome problem is we get so many people sending stuff to Asher that it gets really bogged down. And then as you guys probably can imagine, a lot of people send him stuff that's not even ready, and he's going back and forth trying to do it. So his new AI deal is AI tool. It sounds like, has anybody used it actually in the chat while I'm talking about it? I'd be curious if anybody's used Asher's new AI tool, because now it's going to be able to give you feedback and get it ready. And so that way you have everything you need to submit it to Asher ready to go, so he can actually go through and underwrite the ones that are actually ready. So I know that's coming out. Sounds like we maybe haven't rolled it out yet, but that's going to make, Tanya, on your question, that's going to help a ton with some of these deals that we're emailing. I know Mark's really good at sending us stuff. We're never neglecting you guys. We're just trying to manage all our things that are coming through and sort of triage the ones that we can actually help close. So anyway, this AI tool is going to be great. Well, let's just roll. All right. You guys ready? Okay. Let me show you guys. So again, I'm going to show you how to go find wholesalers in any market, other places, right? Ashley, where's the best place that we've shown them the priority markets they can start with?
So in our framework, we have a list of best cities and the markets that we want to focus in for you guys to go out. So let me drop that in the chat. So everybody who does not have that on top, we have that. So let me grab this. You guys can find that here in the chat.
Cool. And I'm going to open that as we talk about it, guys. And I'm going to show you literally, we'll have this recording, so don't feel like you had to have it all, but I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. And it is so easy. I spent literally 5 minutes on my last call because you're waiting on the guy to hop on. I spent 5 minutes and I already got a bunch of leads, and I'll show you how I did it. Okay. So I know Ashley's going to share this link here. There it is. Yeah. Let's look at this. Okay.
It's in the top drop down.
Oh, top drop down. Okay.
That first find revive deals for free.
Oh, nice.
Hit that carrot on the left side.
Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. So yeah, these are our preferred Wyoming ones. All right. Now you can go across the country. Okay. So I was going through this. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here in Houston. Why don't we pick Houston today? So I literally went into ChatGPT. All right, guys, and any free ChatGPT can do this, right? You can do this in Google. But here's what I did. I was like, find me a list of wholesalers in the Houston area to find properties. Email and phone would be great. Bigger is the better, right? I can't even type. And it still worked. Look at this. All right. So New Western, like first off, I would go to this and I would go call New Western, right? I would go start talking to these. Oh, does this actually, this isn't given the different people's numbers. But anyway, you could, here's the other thing. You could just go Google this, wholesalers. I'm guaranteeing. What are the odds on, anybody want to take odds on who's going to be the first wholesalers in Houston, Texas? Who's paying the most in the ads? I'm going to guess it's New Western. Wait, home wholesalers.
Gotta love Western. They're everywhere.
Wholesalers in Texas. Home investors. Wow. Okay. Largest off-market inventory exclusive. There it is. Second ad. Oh man, New Western's got to start up in their ad spend. They're number 2. Okay, guys. One easy one is go talk to New Western. Problem is, I wouldn't everyone go do New Western. Do New Western because they have a huge list, right? But again, if you just want to join their buyers list and get a hold of one of those guys, that's great. All right, these are all the deals they have. New Westerns across the country. All right, so that's the bigger player. I would not start there. That's a good one, but it's not the best one. Okay, because you're going to be competing with a lot of people.
Yeah, I was going to say that and some insight, just having spoke to them a couple of times, companies that are that big tend to have a box that they work within. And if you don't fit into their box, it's a bit tough. Like you really, truly are looking for Javier or John or like the individual dude that's wholesaling houses if possible, right?
Bingo. Great point, Asher. Okay, cool. So as I was going down again, I did this in 5 minutes. I'm like, ooh, this one looks good. Facebook groups, underrated gold. Houston Wholesalers Facebook group. All right, check this out. I clicked on this one. Took me into this page. All right, I already had it open. And I look at all the deals that are here. All right, so I just went to this first one here in Katy. Adrian Martinez. I went and got his phone number. Boom, right here, 562. Here he was. And I literally just texted, where's the 562? I'm like, hey, you free in 15 minutes to talk about your off-market deal? Sounds good to me. Boom. All right, you guys ready? We're going to call him. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I present this. In a nutshell, all I'm going to do is talk to him about what we're looking for. But and some of you guys have seen me do this on Problems to Profits. But I am not looking for his deals that he just got and he's trying to dispo right away for cash. I'm not going to be his best buyer. I'm going to tell him, hey, I want to buy your deals that you're struggling to, right? That maybe the seller, maybe you've went back to the seller and trying to renegotiate and you can't, and none of your buyers want to buy it and you've just got something that's sitting, okay? Or I'm also going to be like some of the deals you pass on because the seller wants too much, right? That's what I'm going to ask him for, and we'll see what happens. He did not share his name.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Adrian, it's Casey Gregerson.
Yes.
Hey, cool, man.
Pretty good. I just searched your phone number to see. I did a quick reverse search here. I followed your Facebook page, by the way.
Oh, you do? Nice, man.
It's pretty cool that you're calling me, that you're interested in one of my parties.
Cool, man. All right, awesome. That was fast. You did some quick intel. I like it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's my work.
Sweet, man. Do you live here in Houston?
Yes, sir.
Sweet.
Yeah, here close to the Heights, 610 Oak Ridge Road.
Awesome, buddy. Okay. All right. Well, so bad news, good news, bad news. The bad news is this one probably doesn't work. It might. But the good news is I think there's other ones. Are you cool if I just kind of share what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Because I assume you're wholesaling and finding other deals?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, man. So what we do, and I can send you a video to explain what the Revive method is, but I'm looking for stuff I can fix and flip that has a lot of equity. So let's just say this deal in Katy right now on 7749 that you posted on the Facebook group. That's how I found you, by the way. Let's say that one, if you just found that one and you're trying to find cash buyers for it, like I'm not going to be the first guy in, right? Like if you can wholesale it quickly, do it all day, man. And I hope you do. But let's say this one in Katy, like after a couple weeks or 3 weeks, you can't get any buyers, and you're just like, crap, this looks like this one we're going to have to either terminate the contract or maybe you can't renegotiate. Here's where you bring it to me. Be like, again, here's the number one criteria, if you want to write this down, as long as they have 50% or more equity of the ARV. Okay. So if this house, let's say in Katy, was worth 350, as long as they owe 175 or less, and again, ARV, right? So like I'm talking 350 fixed. If it's worth 500 fixed up, then we can go off of 250. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then give me a call. Be like, Casey, having trouble moving this one. They've got more than 50% equity. And what we'll do, if you're down for it, is we'll just do a 3-way call with that seller and be like, hey, so what I do is I basically just go and partner with the seller. We fix up and then we pay the seller on the back end. And then, but if they've got enough equity, I could actually still pay your fee on the front end. I would just work it into my rehab budget. So I know I threw a lot at you. What questions do you have?
Basically, I work with New Western. I don't know if you've heard from us.
Oh, you work in New Western. That's funny. We were just talking about New Western. Your ears must be burning.
Yeah, most likely. So, I mean, it does make sense because we have some properties usually on the higher end that tend to stay longer in our market.
Yes, those are perfect.
Like this one in Katy, this one in Katy, I'm pretty sure it's gonna sell.
Oh yeah, 159. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sell for more, to be honest, because we do showings and investors usually go and offer a little bit more so they can keep the property. So I'm pretty sure this property is gonna sell closer to 175 to 180. But there are properties on the higher end. You can find them like on Spring Branch, maybe Memorial, that we don't have that many investors for those properties. I'm talking $1 million properties, 700K properties, 800K properties that you can find that 50% equity that you're trying to find.
Bingo.
Those ones is not going to be a showing where 20 investors are going.
Yeah.
Maybe a first come, first serve, or a showing where 1 or 2 investors can do something. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. So if you find stuff like that where you've got it. Also, here's the other thing I would tell you, and you would have to talk to your acquisition guys because, I know fairly familiar with how New Western works. You guys are a huge company. You guys, I've worked with you guys a lot, so good things. But on your acquisition side, if you've got on that side, if you guys have a deal where you're trying to negotiate it and the seller just say your model is 70% minus repairs minus the wholesale fee, if they are at more like 80%, if they're motivated, and again, if it has 50% equity, like we could even pay you guys on those deals where you're about to pass on that one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we can definitely do that, man.
Okay. Well, what do you need? Do you want me just to send you a quick little buy box or like a video, or what do you feel like you need from me? And just so you're ready. So that way, when you got one of these, you can send it over.
Okay. So basically we were working right now with, I don't know how long you work with investment for, but we work with the exclusivity of you being on the marketplace. So I can just send you an email with the access. You can check what we have right now in inventory. And if you like something in the future, you can also reach out to me and let me know if you like anything. And you can respond to that email. That's my personal email, your buy box. And that's going to be criteria I'm going to use for your profile, if that makes sense.
Okay. So
I don't have I do have your phone number. I don't have your email. Is there anything I can use to forward you that invite?
You know what? Let me text you that. I've actually got I got a buddy who's going to help me with this. I'm pretty slammed, but I want to make sure that we're following up with you. So can I just have them text you? It's gonna be the same process, but that way, and they can go through the whole process. And let's do it that way if you're cool with that.
That's perfect. If you can text me this phone number, I will add them to the thread or basically to the profile. This is zero charge. Like it's just basically access to the marketplace. We just launched an app too, which is even better because you can just pop up the app and see what we have in inventory.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send all the properties we have to him. If he likes something, he can reach out to me. But if I see one of these properties that you're telling me about that maybe we do a showing, nobody makes an offer, and I'm seeing we're about to terminate, those are gonna be the ones that I'm gonna be calling you directly. Like, hey, Casey, I have this one. You want to take a look? We usually have like a 20% drop rate, so that 20%, maybe you're gonna have some business in there.
Okay. All right, Adrian. I gotta jump, man, but this sounds good. We'll be in touch.
Yeah,
okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, we got a second one teed up for you guys, but I'll pause for a second and see if you guys have any questions on how I did that. I want to give you guys 2 examples because I want you guys feeling comfortable of doing this. And maybe we'll just go pull the AI transcript and give you guys scripts. Speaking of the devil, there's Martin. Martin's been doing this. Go ahead, Martin. And how hilarious is that he works for New Western? I told you New Western is all over the place.
Pause here for a second. Let me walk around. Can you hear me? Sorry, I just lost you for a second. Can you hear me?
We got you, Martin.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't see what you said after you said my name. So I got a deal in Houston across a wholesaler on Investor Lift. And I reached out to him, and he's really interested in the Revive method. I was like, awesome. And I got as a deal that we've been trying to get Casey to, participate in, take over, and see what happens. The property's got fire damage. Well, there's motivation to sell because he doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
Awesome.
And,
Martin, sorry to interrupt you. Martin, can we talk to that one today?
Yep, right now. Actually, they're waiting for you.
Hold on. I want to tee up Buck for this, all right? Where you guys are, man, holy cow. Sometimes everything just comes together perfectly, all right? We and Ashley were talking today, trying to figure out how we can get like examples for you guys in short notice, and they all came together. So Martin, let's wait on it. I got one more that I'm going to show you guys an example, and then Buck is going to help me with that.
Okay, I'll let the guy know. He's waiting for your call, so I'll let him know.
Okay.
Hold on. How long you need?
You know what? Tell him 12:30.
12:30.
Yeah, Central. 13 minutes. I'll go fast. But I guess we have a minute though. Does anybody have any questions specifically on how I just outline that and how I pitched it? Or do you guys just want to see a second example? All right, let's go with example number 2. All right, again, you guys saw me on, I'll go back to sharing my screen. So again, you bet, Tanya, let's do one more. Okay, so again, I just look at this Facebook group. Sorry, wrong one. Just scroll down. There's another one on Bear Creek. The guy gives his phone number. Again, I just copy and pasted this into my messages. That's the 346 guy. 346. Okay, off market. Oh man, I hope this guy answers. 346. I might have spoke too soon because that other guy was, of course, the other guy is Johnny on the spot. He's a good sales guy. Answers right away. Let's see on this one. See if Julio's free. If not, you try Alex. I mean, look at all these, right? Guys, just the Facebook groups are great places to start, right? But again, you can find, there's so many other ways, and I'll let you guys brainstorm more at the end, but it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't leave a message because the person you call.
It's not hard to find wholesalers. So we can give you guys other access to other lists, like me and Ashley were talking about. Investor Machine. Actually, while I'm calling this next lead, let's see in the chat, what ideas or what tips do you guys have? Maybe even I could share some, or anybody else can share any tips you guys have, or Martin, anybody have any tips? Just put it in the chat while I'm calling this guy. How do we find wholesalers? I want to make this really easy for you guys to start making these connections, because these guys are going to bring you deals that are like teed up, ready to go, versus.
Yeah, so I'll talk if you don't mind. So the way I found this one, Investor Lift was huge. The only issue is finding the wholesaler that's interested in the method. But if you approach it the way I think Casey's done a couple of times, that if this method comes across and it's something you're interested in, and then trying to explain the method to them, some of them don't understand it quite and think it's just a novation. Isn't quite that. But me, I found some on Investor Lift, quite a few, and then also Facebook groups are huge.
Okay. Hey, sorry about that. You still free? Can you hear me? Is this Alex?
Yes.
Okay, Alex. Hey, man. Sorry to call you out of the blue, but I just saw this deal you got in Houston. This fix and flip. The one I guess you don't have an address. The one you're asking 130 for. You familiar? You probably got you wholesale a lot of deals.
I do. I got
Hell
a
yeah.
lot in my CRM. But
You know what? That's all right. I'm talking to. That's why I called you. I wanted to find somebody who's actually doing deals. Okay. I don't know if this one's going to work, but can I just quickly explain like what I'm looking for, and then maybe you can see if you can find it.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Here you go. I'll be your best buyer for this. Okay. All right. So I'm looking for. So like, if you have a deal that you can move quickly for cash, and like you buy it at such a good discount, you can wholesale it to another guy for whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't care how much you make, right? If you can do it right away, that's not the one to bring to me, right? What I want you to do is like, if you've got one that you locked up and you've been trying to wholesale it for a while and you just can't move it, bring me that one. And I still could probably get you your price, your wholesale fee. But here's what I'm looking for. They've got to have at least 50% equity. And what I mean is that's of ARV. So if the house is worth like, I don't know where this one you're looking at. Yeah, this one you got an ARV of 220. As long as they owe less than 110, then we're good, right? But it also could be a $800,000 house. If they owe less than 400, we're good. As long as it's a fix and flip, right? It's not going to work on like a lipstick. Like if it's just all we're doing is replacing the carpet and making some repairs, like I'm looking for an actual fix and flip. It could be 30,000, could be 300,000. But so bring those to me. So what I do is I actually partner with the seller to where we go in, we renovate it all, we fix it up, and we pay the seller on the back end. And that's because I structure it that way. I can pay what I would do is I would just pay your fee, whatever you're trying to make. I would actually build that into my rehab budget. So you paid on the front end. And then, and then we go flip it and everybody wins. But what questions do you have on that?
Not much. I mean, you sound like a good bargain to me for sure. I just find you the deal, and you kind of pay my fee.
Bingo.
Sounds good to me. But
yeah, man.
I guess we can, once I actually find you something that you're that works for you, I guess we can kind of cross that bridge when we get there and get into the more details.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, you nailed it, man. And the other part is, let's say that you're like trying to negotiate a deal, because it sounds like you're going direct to seller. If you're like, let's say your model is 70% of the ARV minus repairs minus your fee. Well, let's say the seller, like they're motivated, but they're just like, I'm not taking 70% minus all that. Maybe they're 80% or 85. We can still make that deal work because again, I pay the seller on the back end. So we basically partner. So therefore a lot of my deals I can buy at 80 or 85%. So what I'm saying is if you've got a deal that like, they're motivated, remember, the most important rule is 50% or more equity. So if they've got equity and they're motivated, like bring that one to me. And you're just, I can't, if he's, you know it, right? You know, those deals were like, oh man, there's no way I can wholesale this because seller wants too much, right? So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. So even if you're not under contract yet, but you got somebody motivated, like you could either just kick it to us and we'll close it and pay you a percentage, or if you want to lock it up, and that might actually be easier to where you don't have to go spend all the time and we have to redo the contract. But I'm open, man. I would just say as soon as you get one of those deals, why don't we do this? As soon as you get one of those deals, I'll text you my info. I'm going to actually have my partner text you our info because he can follow up a lot faster than me. And when you find one of those, man, let's do it. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. I'll send you some of my info so you can look me up on Facebook anyway. I do a ton of volume, and so anyway, so I'm not just some crazy hustler that's going to go, I'm not going to go sell your deal to somebody else.
How many you're looking for? How much stuff do you buy like a month?
Yeah, we're going to do 100 this year, total fix and flips. And I've got 400,
Okay.
But I also buy and hold. I have a fund as well that I raise capital for, or that I fund my deals with. So yeah, we're looking to do 100 of them this year. So I don't know if 100 will be in Houston, but if they are, I'll happily do it. I live over in Spring Branch, I-10 in the Beltway.
Okay, so you're closer to downtown for sure.
Yeah.
Our office is up in the Woodlands.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, Alex. Well, I'm going to jump, man. I want to take any more of your time. Let's go deeper once you find something.
No, you're good. I got you. I'll send whatever I got over to you.
Okay.
50% equity, most important thing, all right?
Fix, as long as it's a fix and flip, 50% or more equity, send it our way.
Gotcha. Is there a max amount of rehab that you don't want to
No, dude. I would do, it could be, I would say 30,000 or 300,000. It could be, but again, if it's under 30K, it might be a little more challenging. Do you do novations? You ever done do you know what a novation is?
Yeah,
Do some of that. Yeah. Anyway, like sometimes people do those, but a novation is like you might only be like cleaning it up. But again, I would say the minimum of the rehab should probably be around like 20,000. But yeah, it could be a huge one. I don't want to go do a tear down, but dude, I don't mind if it's a $200,000 rehab on a beautiful house in River Oaks or something. Like we could do that too.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna get some stuff for you.
All right, good, man. All right, Alex, I'm gonna let you run, man, but we'll be in touch.
Thank you. I
Okay.
look forward to working with you.
You bet. Likewise.
All right, bye.
All right, see you. All right, boom. That easy, guys. Everybody ready to go do it? I'll stop sharing for a second. But I want to be realistic, right? And I know we're gonna kick it to Martin and Buck here in a second. But I know I do this all the time, and I made that look really easy, but I just want to make sure it's still easy for you guys, all right? Because or Ashley, maybe you could poke some holes in it. Where are you guys going to get stuck? Because I want that to be just as easy as it was for me as it is for you. Sorry, my volume might have been muted.
No, you're good. I think it's just setting them up with the expectation, like we're not going to be their first buyer, so don't bring us deals if they just get under contract and they're looking for highest and best or like an automatic like cash offer. That's not going to be us. So setting that expectation up front, what we're looking for, I think is perfect. Like just how you heard Casey do it. You're setting expectations. You're letting them know what would be a good deal for you. It's almost like you're converting the wholesaler to a bird dog for you. So they're going out and they're doing the heavy lifting for you. You just need to make these connections, have them bring you the deal. You know what the revive method is. You're showing up every week. Then you're working with them to bring us deals here. So it's just like they're going out and doing the heavy lifting for you. And then we're all just collectively working together and making this year one big year full of revive method, which is super exciting. But does anybody have any questions based off like how they heard Casey go through that conversation? Does anybody have any questions? Do you feel prepared with what knowledge you have right now to go out and make those connections with wholesalers? Feel free to come off mute.
Yeah, and we can give you guys, we'll pull this summary today and we'll go put this in the Revive Network, the Facebook group. We'll go pull some scripts. We can literally just use AI to pull it. So you'll have some talking points. But just how, here's what hopefully my note taker will give you guys in the transcript. But think about this mindset. We are bringing them value, right? This isn't a cold call where you're calling some seller and they're going to yell at you like, why are you calling me? I'm not selling my house, and just swearing at you. Like, these guys are trying to move deals. We are there. Like, that's why I opened it with like, hey, what if I just share my buy box? Do you think you could find me some deals? Like, that's what these guys, that's how they make money. So just approach it with like, you are helping solve their problem, right? And then just be upfront and honest with them. And the other angle I would say is, you probably heard when I said higher price point houses, like that's hard. Those deals are harder for them to move. Honestly, the higher price point stuff, guys, sometimes are the best Revive deals, because the average, you think of it from a fix and flipper's perspective. If I'm going to go flip $1 million house and it's a 200K rehab, there's a lot of different things that could go wrong. And all of a sudden you could go lose money. You could also go make 100K, right, on that fix and flip, but you also could lose 100K. It could swing. Therefore, those deals are harder to move. So that's another angle you could kind of say, like, doesn't matter how big the project is. I don't care how big the ARV is, just 50% equity. So just taking that angle, I think, will help. Having the confidence behind me. Yep. So Christine, having the confidence. I'm not moving down here. I'm not having to look for the buyer. I know the buyer is active. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Guys, and let them they do this all day, every day, right? They're the ones that have to go get yelled at and screamed at and swearing at, talking to sellers, right? You guys don't have to do that. Let me make sure. Ashley, make sure if I left out a question. Let's go with Kathina. Go ahead. And then we got 1 minute though, because then we're going to go to Martin.
Yes, a question. So I know in your buy box, you mentioned that the seller would need to wait like 90 days or something, but I didn't see you mention that to the wholesaler. So I just wanted to get some clarity around that.
Yes. So I used to always do that, but honestly, I feel like it's going to convolute the situation. We're going to go to Buck in a second. Buck will get there when you go to start negotiating it. But I don't think, what I have found is that hardly ever matters. Like, what typically matters to these people is they get their number. And if they need, like, we'll give them 10,000 to go rent a house or whatever. Like, there's very situations. The only situation this will not work is if somebody is like, they're selling their house and they're under contract on their next house. And if they don't sell this one, they can't buy that one. Right. In that situation, we really can't help them. But you really actually could. We could actually help them. They could go rent for a little bit and then buy their house.
Okay.
That and then paying them on the back end is a much cleaner way of stating it. If you tell somebody we'll pay them 90 days and you don't sell the house in 90 days, all they remember is you told them that you'd pay them in 90 days. Just pay them on the back end.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Let's go rapid fire. Owen, did you have one? You had a hand raised.
Yes.
Coney, right?
Cone.
Oh, all right.
Hi. So I just have like a quick question. So when we're bringing these deals to you, so how much are we getting paid for bringing this deal to you? Does it depend on the price of the home, or how does that?
Honestly, perfect lead into where we're going to go next. So it depends. It's going to be a percentage of profit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you could take it all the way, like Buck's going to be your next resource. Buck's about to hop in and show you guys once once you actually have a deal, which Martin brought us a deal where we could talk to him, Buck is going to be able to help sort of do the negotiation, because Buck's been on my team for a couple years now, and like he knows how these work. Okay. Eventually, a lot of you guys will start to get, maybe not quite to Buck's level, but you'll understand how to like present it like Buck. And so if you guys could get all the way without Buck, you're going to get a higher percentage, right? But if Buck's coming in, obviously Buck's not going to do this for free, but he is a very helping and awesome guy, but he wants to come in here and make money with you guys. So we can give you those percentages, but it's got to be, I'm just telling you guys, it's going to have to be fluid, because it really depends on how far you can take it, right? Also, we're going to have to pay this wholesaler, right? But to answer your question, it's a percentage of the profit. The more you can do by yourself, then the higher that percentage is. But I would say it's going to be, for you guys as bird dogs, it's probably going to range somewhere between 5 to 10%.
Okay.
I was up to 10%. If you just literally just brought it in and really don't do anything else, it might be less than 5. But then that might be your first one, right? And then you grow, and the more you do, I would love to be able to just pay you guys the full 10%. You guys bring it in and do the whole process, right? I would love to do that, but I just know I'm going to be able to have to help you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mark, I'm going to kick it to you guys. So I think no further ado to Buck. Buck's going to help you knock this one out, and I'm going to go have lunch and get ready for my next meeting.
Thanks, Casey.
You got it.
How we doing, Martin?
Good. How you doing?
Doing
All right,
well.
So I got a wholesaler that's got a seller on the call, and we're trying to get them to sell the revive method to the seller. So I'm going to give you, I'll put the phone number. Whoops, he's just texted me. He's waiting for you to call. So it's a house in Houston that has some fire damage, and from what I understand, there's no loan, so it's free and clear. So if you want to take over.
And this is sorry, you said this is what's the situation? This is the seller, or this is a wholesaler that we're
This is the wholesaler who's going to have the seller on the call as well. So we get it interesting with both.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Here, I'll put his number here for you.
Alrighty. 1 second. Hey, Asher, can you send me the link to this Google Meet in Slack so I can use I'm on my personal phone so that everyone can hear the call? Or Ashley? Thank you. All right. Sweet. Let me get this number real quick. Alrighty.
Comment earlier, I said bearded buck, let's fucking go.
Yeah, you're good. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna switch over to my computer so I can use my phone and you guys can all hear it. All right.
Hey, Buck, how are you doing?
Hey, Roy, how you doing?
Good. What about yourself?
I'm doing very well. It's halfway through the week, right? Today's Wednesday, right? I always lose track of my days.
It is. You're located in California?
Yeah, yes, sir. My family's from Bozeman, but I relocated to California not too long ago, and I work for a fire department over here, close to the border. I'm in San Diego.
My wife has family in San Diego. My wife is from LA.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I grew up like 40 minutes east of LA, Claremont. And then where in San Diego do you have family?
It's her cousin. To be honest with you, I have no idea. I have business there. That's all I know.
That is a pretty sweet business. That's one of those businesses that probably does really well that nobody thinks about.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. Awesome.
I'll give you a quick breakdown in regards to the situation with those guys, and in regards to just so you have. So I own a real estate wholesaling / flipping company in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
This guy that you're about to chat with, they had a case where the property took severe fire damage.
Okay.
It's essentially completely burned. The majors seem okay, so I guess it's just cosmetic majors, as in like the studs and things like that. I didn't see any structural damage there.
Okay.
But what's his name? I think Martin gave me a little breakdown about your business. I'm familiar with Revive, so it sounded like a similar business model. So I already gave him an inflation on the rehab amount.
Okay.
I estimated it to be, if I had to do it tomorrow, I would probably have to throw about 130 into it.
Okay.
I told him that it's probably going to be 180 because there is damage, and he's a tough one. So he really doesn't want to go below the 165, which is what I have him under contract for.
Okay.
And that's when he kind of gave me a breakdown about what you guys do. And
Is this outright, like free and clear, or is this
I'm pretty sure he owns it outright, and he also received a decent amount from the insurance as well. So
Okay, so insurance has kind of already made him whole too, but he just doesn't deal with building.
exactly.
Okay.
He's not trying to get himself into it.
Okay, sounds good. And you've already seen it. You said it's pretty much just down to the studs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been there. I can send you a video as well.
Oh no, you're all good. What are new builds going for in that area?
So it's an interesting pocket. It's kind of hard to tell because about 0.6 miles away from there, you're in $1 million.
Okay.
In that specific area, I would assume a new build is probably gonna go again. I don't know what your finish levels are and how you do things, but
just a ballpark.
I would assume anywhere between, again, depending on the square footage as well, but anywhere between 600 to 800,000.
Oh, okay. That's a good spread. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's hop on the phone with this guy and see what we can do. So he was not. So you have him under contract, but I guess what's the issue as far as where we're coming in? You're trying to give this to us to do a revive, right? So we're just trying to figure out if your number that you have it under contract for works.
I would try to. I would want an assignment fee here, obviously.
Yep.
Not anything crazy. Probably anywhere between 5 to 10 grand would do it.
Right. I guess I'm just a little confused on like we're coming in. You already have this under contract. Does he know that you're trying to wholesale this to us?
No. So here's what I told him. I told him that if he wants to sell it to me outright, I'd have to be at 110,000 after completing my due diligence.
Okay.
But that I do have another solution for him. That I have a investor friend that does this, and I kind of broke up to him a little bit of what it would look like.
Yeah.
And as of to why he would actually be netting more money and walking away with more money.
For sure. Cool. Awesome.
So he's interested in hearing it out.
Yeah. Cool. Then I'm your partner. Let's go ahead and if you want to merge them into the call, let's go ahead and do it. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw out. I'll get you a sheet to share with him after we have this talk, and I'm just gonna kind of tell him what we want to do with, and then I'll send him a sheet. I'll work with you. I'll text you after this and send him a sheet so he can kind of see what those numbers look like, because it's all very abstract, right? Unless I can put some real numbers in front of him.
I know. So you're doing exactly what Revive is doing.
Cool.
I'm more than familiar with the way they work. I used to flip a lot of houses in the Bay Area as well, and they're very strong there too.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, let's do it.
All righty. Let me put him on the line. Then, can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry for being a bit late. We have Buck here on the line.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Sorry for the tardiness. That's my fault. I had a meeting that ran over a little bit, so I do apologize for that.
Oh, no problem. I was in the middle of pulling concrete in the way. So.
Yeah.
By the way, Buck, Kevin, a quick breakdown. Kevin has a concrete company. His father actually owns the place, but ultimately, whatever Kevin decides to do, that's the path they're gonna go for.
Cool.
Kevin is the main decision maker here.
Sweet.
Kevin, I gave you a quick explanation on the way of how it would work, but I really wanted you to hear it from. I've been working with Buck for quite some time now. He'll be able to present it better than me. So stage is yours, Buck.
Awesome. Thank you, Roy. Yeah, Kevin. So happy to meet with you today. Roy was telling me a little bit about your situation. Sounds like we could probably be a perfect fit for each other, try to find like a win-win here, right? So I understand that this house has some fire damage. It sounds like it's kind of down to the studs, we'd essentially be building a new house there. What we like to do is essentially share, right? Instead of kind of selling a property as is, we can sell it, realize the full potential of that house and sell it for top dollar, and then kind of like share in that equity that we create together, if that makes sense. So I'll give you a quick synopsis of kind of how that works. And then I'd love for you to ask. I'm sure you're going to have some questions, so please ask away. I'm happy to answer any and all of those questions for you. And I am going to try to stay away from some numbers just because it's very abstract, right? I'm going to work with Roy after this call, and we'll put together a sheet for you that's kind of, you know, with our numbers, so you can kind of just see how this would shake out, so you can kind of marry the two together, right? Have this conversation and then have something kind of to relate to as well. So what we're doing is that we'll essentially come in and we'll completely fund and manage the build, the rehab. We have our own crews. We're able to stay on a really tight timeline and get the work done. Once the work is completed, we'll turn around, list it with one of our agents, and then, you know, once it sells on the market, we just want to get our rehab costs back. But then typically we've been doing about an 80-20 split lately. 80% of the proceeds go to you, and then 20% goes to us. Typically the split we've been doing a lot. But how that works is, you know, you're going to be able to share in the upside, right? Kind of how I said before, right? Where you could sell it as is right now, or we can kind of wait a little bit, sell it for top dollar on. So that's kind of like a quick synopsis of how it works. And we're going to handle and manage everything. You know, we're happy I got to look into the detail a little bit more, but, you know, a big question people are always asking is, you know, well, hey, I need some cash kind of up front to help me with X, Y, or Z. We've done that in the past. So we love to kind of work with you and make sure that it works for your situation and what you're trying to accomplish, right? So I'm not here to force a square peg into a round hole, but this sounds like an absolute ideal situation for us to do this. We call it the revive method. So that's just a really quick, short and sweet kind of synopsis of it. What questions do you have for me on your end?
Okay, if we do decide to go with the option 2 that we talked about on yesterday, how soon can you guys actually get started on the rehab?
Oh man, we can get started. So we move quick because we're not going to see anything right until the property is fixed up and sold on the market. So we're highly incentivized to come in, do really good work, and do it in a time efficient manner, right? Because we're kind of just, like I said, we're not going to see anything until we do our job. And I'm happy to share, you know, past flips that we've done, lenders we worked with, sellers we've worked with. You know, we have a great reputation to stand on, and I'm happy to kind of share any resource you need if you just want to see what our work looks like.
Yes, please do.
For sure.
Okay. I guess another question I would have is, the city is kind of, you know, putting us to do things to the house, but kind of holding off to try to go ahead and get the house sold or whatever. But at the same time, I would need to see some type of production that's happening with the house. So you will be putting permits and stuff, correct?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yep, it's going to go through the same exact process anything else would. I know it's a little untraditional, but we're still going through a title company. We're still going through escrow. Yeah, it's all going through the same process.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can you maybe present Kevin with like a numerical, you know, example showcase of how he would actually be making more money here? Just so he gets a better sense of, you know, what the number would look like as an example.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, like I said, this is why I want to share kind of a table that really helps outline those numbers, because I want to be transparent with you, right? So I like to have, and it'll make more sense when you see this table, but for example, right, you could kind of sell it as is now for, you know, whatever, let's call it $100,000, right? You can sell it as is for that right now, or if we can come in, put, you know, $200,000 into building a new property and then turn around and sell it for, say, 600, right? 80% of 600 is going to be a lot more than right? So that's just kind of that just kind of quickly illustrates the upside, right? And I'll provide a range of sales prices, right? Because I don't have a magic crystal ball to know exactly what it's going to sell for on the back end, but we're really conservative. We're really safe with our numbers. I'll highlight where we're super comfortable with those numbers falling. And then everything else is just kind of icing on the cake, right? It's just, you get to share in all the upside that we do. We just get to do it together, but it creates a win-win for us, right?
Yes. Okay.
Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
What type of timeline do you think, kind of ballpark,
Yeah.
will it actually take to rehab the house and have it ready to sell on the market?
To rehab the house is typically, so the whole process typically is going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. The reason I say 4 to 6 months is because the biggest unknown that I don't know is how long it's going to sit on the market, right?
Yes.
But
exactly, yeah.
the work itself, we could get you a timeline. Once we have our guys in there, we really know what we're looking at, we'll have everything scheduled out. And we'll be like, hey, by this date, the completion's going to be done. Our agent gets in there as they're finishing. The work got finished on Friday. It's going to be listed last Friday, and it just got listed this morning, I believe. So that's super quick turnaround. Because like I said, we're incentivized, right? We want everybody to get paid, and that doesn't happen until we do our job and it gets sold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, like I said, you just got to wait a little bit longer, but I mean, you get to share in a lot more upside than selling, a house that's had some fire damage, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But can you share your upside so, for the full clarity to why you even do it that way?
Yeah, so I mean, the reason we do it this way, right, is because typically with cash, when we're going and we're doing something all cash, we're paying a lot more higher in interest rates, right? If we can kind of just hold the property as is, and all we have to worry about is just managing the rehab and the funding and not have to worry about kind of the A side of it, that makes, we have a lot more capital to work with, right? So I can go ahead now and I can do 5 flips at a time structured like this, as opposed to doing 1 flip where I got to buy it for 150 and I got to go borrow 300 and I'm paying 10 to 12% interest, right? So it kind of just creates, you get the upside, I get to kind of flip a property for less capital than I would have to if I needed to completely fund everything. And then, like I said, it helps us get a range of a lot higher sales prices. So, it's just, I think a lot of investors kind of go around trying to overpromise and underdeliver. And I think with this structure, it's a lot easier for us to deliver on what we say we are going to, and it puts everybody on the same page, right? Like I said, I'm going to share this table with you, or I'll give it to Roy and have Roy share it with you. You're going to be able to see everything, right? You're going to see like our rehab scope. You're going to see, hey, if it sells for this is what I walk away with. If it sells for this is what I walk away with, right? Because it's easy to get lost in the sauce when talking about a ton of numbers. And for something that's like a little less traditional, I'm more of like I just like to see it and then it makes sense for me, and that's just how my brain works. So that's why I always try to provide that. I'll have Roy send that over once we get together after this call and put something in front of you so that you can actually see, what does this look like? What does my upside look like?
Okay, now, as far as once the house is being worked on and everything, what documents need to be signed over to you guys, guaranteeing that everything is, how to be turned over into you guys' name, or how do all that paperwork?
Yes. So there's going to be 2 transactions. The first transaction is going to be between us, right, where we close on the front end, you and Roy, right? We're going to close, the title will transfer, and then what we do is we create the promissory note's not the exact wording for it, but it's essentially like a document, like a profit equity share, and it's gonna outline explicitly what that profit share is. I'm literally just going to take the numbers from the table that I show you and just be like, if it sells for this is your walkaway price. And it's held by title to ensure that, like, hey, once it's sold on the back end, you need to get paid your percentage. Like it's going to go through all the same documents, but there's going to be 2 closings. That makes sense. You're only going to be involved really in the first one as far as signing documents. And then on the back end is really just us selling to our new buyer, right? But then you're going to get funds from escrow on the back end as well. They're going to wire you your 80%, whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, there's going to be two transactions. but the one that you're going to be mostly involved in is just that front end.
Just the run, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as my dad and them, hey, they may be needing money. How do that work?
Yeah, so I mean, and again, it's just going to kind of depend on like that is owned free and clear, which gives us a lot more wiggle room on that end. It's really kind of up to you, right? We've done anywhere from 5 to 15 before. It's really, like I said, it's depending upon your situation, what you guys kind of need. And then, you know, based on kind of the spread or what the, you know, the meat that's on the bone of this house, when it's owned free and clear, it's usually easier. We can get you more, but it's just going to come out of your profit share on the back end, right? So say your profit share on the back end is 100, but you want 15,000 up front. I'm just going to put that 15,000 on the front end, and then you're going to get 65 on the back end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What else you got for me? I'm ready for more.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the main, like I said, the main thing would be you guys getting in there and go ahead and getting work done to us so we can actually show the city that, hey, we actually have, you know, sold the house.
Yes, I actually wanted to touch on that real quick. So you said the city said you guys needed to start work. What do you mean by that? Is it?
Okay. Just since we had the house, like I said, the house has been down. Nobody has been in it for almost about a year and a half. So
Okay.
and the city is steady coming out, giving my dad fines for this and that. You know, they told us to get the roof done. We got that patched up. They tell us to, okay, now the windows need to be boarded up. We boarded those up. And now they come into, you know, different things that just keep happening.
Yeah.
And so basically they're saying the house has been sitting so long it's becoming a nuisance.
Okay, that's
So
fair. Well, as
that's-
soon as if we can get to an agreement, right, all you kind of got to do is show them a purchase agreement and be like, yeah, and they'll be fine. So we're happy to do that. What exactly, what were you looking to net, right? Like total? Because it kind of helps, it gives me a target to shoot for, right? Like I said, I want to make sure this kind of is a win-win for everybody. So what's kind of like what were you looking to net after all said and done?
We had the conversation on the end. He was looking right around 165.
165? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Like I said, that gives me my target, and I'm gonna get with Roy after this, and we'll put our heads together and get that sheet over to you so you can kind of look at that. And then it's just, you know, we'll just keep these conversations going, take it a step at a time. If you have any questions, also too, in the email, I'll work with Roy on this, but we'll kind of briefly just recap how this works, how, you know what I mean? Because I knew I just word vomited a ton at you. So I'll make sure we kind of recap that conversation and how this works. And then please, any question you have, I'm here for it. So please let me know, because I want to make sure that you're comfortable with this and we're all on the same page. You know, I like to do my homework up front instead of down the road, and then, you know, it's a little more stressful.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead and get that information sent over to me so I can sit down with my father.
Perfect.
And we can go over everything, him and my sister, and you know, and see what his thoughts are, and then let you guys know.
Sweet. Yeah. And Kevin, if you and your dad or your sister have any questions too, and like you guys want to hop on a call with Roy and myself, I'm more than happy.
Okay.
If they have a ton of questions too, you know, I'm more than happy to hop on a call and address those as well. So just let me know how I can be a resource.
Okay.
Just as a side note, and to add on top of what Buck was saying, Kevin, I think if the main goal here was to, you know, essentially squeeze as much as you can out of it, and I think that's, you know, the perfect path to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you wait a little longer. Yes, you know, but again, you're essentially making an annual salary on top of what you wanted in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah. I actually love the idea. Like I said, I'll be with my father, and we'll sit down and go look at the Uncle sent over, and then we'll go from there, man.
Awesome.
okay. And also, if you want, Kevin, Buck, tell me if that's a possibility. I think it'd be a good idea also, once we get that sheet over, maybe to schedule a quick Zoom call so we can kind of go over it with them and answer any questions as they arise.
Yeah, I love that. Sounds like a great idea. I'm all for it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Kevin.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Roy.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
sir.
Good to meet you.
All right, thanks, Buck.
All right, bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Buck, it's just you and I now.
Yep. How we doing, Roy? How do you think that went? Good.
I think it went great. I mean, I think it answers their needs. I think, listen, no one's gonna pay him 165 for that house as it is. You know, it just doesn't make any financial sense. And I think that's a good path for him to get what he's looking for. So
yeah, we're just trying to make win-wins here, right? If we're not all making money, we're doing something wrong. So
I told you, I'm a big believer in Revive. I don't know if you're aware, but for some reason, they're not operating in Dallas, Texas anymore, as far as the last I heard from them. But I am a true believer in that program. I actually tried doing it myself a few years ago. I just had a little bit of difficulty as far as the capital goes.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of deals like this?
Company is I like to look at it as a one-stop shop and maximize him to the fullest and be able to provide him with all sorts of different solutions.
Sweet.
So I do those, but in a very small scale. So for example, let's say someone tells me, hey, I'm trying to get 300,000. I check the comps and I see that all it would require for him is, what I need to do to make some sort of a profit is just to update the bathroom and maybe throw some paint in the house.
Yeah.
Then I'll do like an innovation deal where I invest up to $20,000 as far as renovation goes, and then I'll list the house on the market and let him what he wanted and make some profit out of it as well. But
Cool.
I just don't have the capital to do it on a full like you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, I get it. Especially in some of these areas, it's hard to find contractors, right? I think that's kind of the ace in the hole for us is having our own.
It's not it's out of focus for me. Like
Cool.
I just don't have the time to manage a full-blown project if I'm doing it that way.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, keep sending him. Martin's awesome, man. He's the man. So just if you get anything like this, man, we would love to take a look. And like I said, finding those win-wins for everybody is really what we excel at. So
yeah, definitely.
Keep them coming, but
Martin, if this goes well, I'll definitely add you guys to my arsenal, and I can get you quite a bit of traffic.
I love it.
I do direct to seller marketing, so I invest about 30 grand a month in marketing.
Amazing.
So I'm essentially first hand to those people, and in a lot of the cases, this is a good solution to go with.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know if you know this. XP Realty is starting to do something similar. Like they have a program. A lot of these brokerages are starting to do, they're not obviously calling it Revive, but they're starting to do something similar where they'll offer like $15K in repairs or something like that. And yeah, so it works, right? You got to get creative.
They do. The one difficulty I found with the Revive had that I can tell you is to get access to those people. So they're good with what they're doing as far as the program, but they're not good with, as far as getting those leads, pre-qualifying them, working on them and etc. So they're used to work with more educated clients, as you would call it.
Yeah.
And that's just a smaller of a bag than the uneducated client.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. Awesome, Roy. Well, man, I'm really glad Martin put us in touch. I'll get with Martin and I'll share, like I said, we'll get that table together today so that you could share that. You and Martin can share that with your seller, with Kevin. And then
sounds good.
Just let Martin know how I can be a resource. Like I said, if you guys want to hop on a group call together, I'd love to do that. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, man, I think this is an absolute ideal situation for us to kind of come in and do this Revive. So definitely. Awesome, man. Do you have any questions?
Looking for that thing.
Cool.
Let's start putting this one together. And like I told Martin, if we're able to get this out of the park, you got to understand, I deal with a lot of people that inherit properties or that have vacant properties. And this is the perfect solution for them and for you. So.
Cool. Yeah. Win-win, baby. And then I just wanted to confirm I want to make sure everyone's getting taken care of. What's the fee that you're looking for on this? Because then I can build it into my underwriting.
I would like to make my typical fees around 10 grand.
Cool.
It's just because you got to understand, I have my cost per contract.
Oh, trust me, I get it. I do wholesale too, Roy. So I get it. You don't got to tell me, buddy. I got it. We'll get it, man. We'll get you. We'll get you paid. I want to make it. Like I said, if we're not all making money, we're doing something wrong.
Definitely.
Cool. Awesome, Roy. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry that took so long.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That's the way it should. That was awesome.
I talk a lot. I've word vomit a lot. I gotta
No.
slow down sometimes.
That was so great. I'm so happy that we got to hear like you have that conversation and like navigate. We got to hear Casey like tee up like how we can leverage and like work with wholesalers. And then Martin, you've been working with this one. He is a great example of like how we can really like bring it all in to just like leverage them and to get more deals done and help more people, which is really exciting. So great job, Buck. Does anybody have any questions on any of it? How Casey teed up the conversation, how to reach out to people to find them, how Buck handled the conversation with the wholesaler and then with the seller. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to come off of mute.
Maybe would it help if I explained how I did this, how I found this?
Yeah.
And that'll help everybody. And really, it was a lot easier than I thought. So as I started to say earlier, basically going to a website that, has wholesalers on it. And I tried to be a little bit of a sniper on this one, where I was looking at houses that you could tell needed renovations on it, not just like lipstick paint or, So this one, obviously with fire damage, was like, oh God, we got to take a look at this and see how much damage there is. So with that, I which I know I probably shouldn't have done, but immediately I ran the spreadsheet that Asher's given everybody and trying to figure it out myself. What would this possibly do? I don't mind doing the numbers like that, but because it's interesting to learn and see what you can do. And if you're right, kind of a check. So I ran that through and I was like, if this pans out from what the wholesaler was saying for the renovation costs would be, I think he's a little low, but with that, and then the market value of it, the ARV, I was like, this could be a nice win. So then I put it out there to Roy. I was like, here, I'm interested. Oh, basically this one message is like, oh, I'm interested in the property. Can please give me a call? Well, that was it. And from there, Roy got on the phone and as everybody can hear, he seems pretty educated. He's knowledgeable. He's open to different structures and stuff like that. So it made it super easy to deal with. And then it was trying to get him to convince the seller to want to get on a call, because the guy apparently was hard, saying he did not want anything but cash on this. So, the teamwork of myself and Roy and now Buck getting in there and selling the seller on the idea of the revive method, which makes absolute sense. And so this one, actually, I don't think they'll all go this way, but it seemed pretty easy as far as the process. But just staying with that, first keep it simple, get the conversation going, and taking action. So you just got to do it. And really, I didn't time how long it took me to do this, but in the grand scheme of things, it was worth it. And this is my first deal trying to get through. So
Yeah. Martin, you're doing amazing. You're doing all the things right. And I love that you're just staying consistent and taking action. It does take a little bit of massaging. It's not going to be like one phone call and done. You guys, you're doing great. So you're on the right path. And I think this is like a really true, like, not case study, but this is just showing you like how you can really work with other people and just help more people out.
Yeah, we can all find a win, right? I mean, like I said, this one's free and clear. The free and clear ones are the best because there's just so much more room, especially like if he's asking for some cash up front, right? Because a lot of people are going to ask for that, especially if they're like moving or they got other stuff. We're making them wait 6 months. If it's free and clear, it's so easy to give them some cash up front. And then you just tell them like, hey, it'll just come from your profit split on the back end. We're just going to move it to the front. And people can understand that. So if they want cash up front, that's not a deal breaker.
Oh, Buck, I got your message too. So this one has gone through. Some of you guys will have seen I've been using you guys like guinea pigs for like the last week. Your statuses and ClickUp keep changing. You're bouncing around. You're getting messages get deleted. It redoes a new message. This is one that's gone through underwriting and is passed. It's just, it was just making the connection. And then the nice thing of it is that number he's looking for, this should be a real easy sell. We could potentially manipulate some of the numbers, but the low end is at 165.9, so it exceeds the 160 he's looking for.
Amazing.
And it's 207 on the high end. It's like these are as close to a slam dunk as you get when you have somebody that's receptive to it and the numbers work and you don't have to try and negotiate it down. Boom, away you go. So,
and I think when you try to meet sellers right halfway, I think they're so burned out on investors just being like, no, here's my lowball cash offer, just take it. And it's like, when you come from a position of like, look, dude, like I'm trying to meet you halfway and get you the number that you want, people like appreciate that. Even if like, you're like, look, dude, I'm doing everything I can, it's just not penciling. at least I tried to like hear them. People just want to be heard. People just want to be like, meet me halfway, right? And it's like, even if I can't get you your number, at least I'm trying to get there. And I found a ton of sellers just appreciate that. So just something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, this one looks like it already penciled. So I think Asher will probably share the sheet with you, Martin, to then send over to Roy. And then, yeah, just if you need anything else, any other help with this one, if he decides he wants to do a group call, just let me know. You should definitely be there as well. And yeah, just let me know how I'm just here to help, honestly. So I was in your guys' shoes like a couple of years ago, right? And I think like what Martin said, just taking the action. I'm like a learn by doing person. Vault, I can listen to all the seller calls, but like until I just started getting out there and failing forward, I didn't really notice me getting better until I just started getting on the phones. So that's just how I learn, is by doing. So I would just say, like what Martin said, take the reps, get out there. The worst they're going to say to you is no. But again, most people, if you're just trying to give them a solution that's better than what people have given them before, people are going to appreciate that. And I've had dozens of people come back to me later because, you know, they go under contract with a wholesaler, they can't close the cash offer they gave them, and they come back to us and they're like, hey, like this person didn't work out, you know, would you still do this with us? So, because they remember, like, you're the only one that tried to meet me halfway. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Vincent. You can come off mute. You have a question?
Yeah, I just did a quick no pressure. I sent in a deal. I just didn't know if it's going to buy or not. I just got to get back to the seller looking for an update. And so I'm just looking for an update. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so you were one of my guinea pigs. Your deal got assessed multiple times. It's essentially the note for you in ClickUp is that we are needing some additional information. I can look at that right now and tell you. Sorry, let me pop
okay, it. I was going to ask about that too. I have no idea how to use this ClickUp, so I'll have to go back in there and look. I didn't know what the purpose of that was.
It looks like the main issue, this is AI doing this for me right now. Thank you for being one of my guinea pigs, but I have a message in here that the revive sheet wasn't a share mode. So that sheet, if you can click share in the top right corner and then change it to from restricted to anyone with link, I can use the viewer access, I can use editor access, just as long as it's shared with me. Otherwise, I don't know how to analyze the deal and see what you put together.
Gotcha. All right, I'll be home in a few minutes. I'll do it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Go ahead, Katina.
Hi there. I was just going to say that was great, Buck, especially with the question I had earlier around like the 90 days, the way you explained that 4 to 6 months and just like this is the process, like it wasn't a big deal. I think that was helpful to put the seller at ease. So that was great. A couple of questions for Martin, though. When you first met or spoke with the wholesaler, did you mention Revive or you just mentioned like we can profit share with the seller? Like what made the wholesaler feel that this would be something the seller would be interested in?
So I brought up, basically asked about the property first. So I got information about it because if it wasn't going to be a significant renovation, the revived method and it made sense. So that's the way I approached it first, is to get details about the condition of it. And obviously with the fire damage, you're not going to have a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And so then I said, okay, here's what we do. And I explained it to them that, what we do is we like to do a profit share model instead of giving them like a low ball number. That way it's a win-win for everybody. It helps us not have to bring as much cash up front. And similar to what Buck was explaining earlier. So I kind of use that sort of template to do it. And I know with Casey's, he has that little script he's given everybody. And I kind of modified it a little bit and just kind of winged it, but I had the basic bullet points from it to kind of gauge where the wholesaler was. And him being interested in it made it a little easier to talk about, so he understood the principles behind it. So I didn't have to go into full detail. He did get into mentioning that like there was the Revive. There must have been a group called Revive or something in there in Dallas that was doing fix and flips and stuff. I don't know, but I don't think anybody
I
here
heard
has
that.
left Dallas.
I heard that. I was like, wait, what?
So, but they might have been doing the same thing and just called themselves Revive, and they ran out of deals that they want to deal with and they moved on. He said they moved on to California. So I was like, oh, it must be just a particular entity that there. But it really helped having a knowledgeable guy, because I've spoken to other wholesalers, as a lot of them, that they don't do it. They want they only deal with cash offers. Which is, tough to do. And so I'm trying to get people that'll be open and knowledgeable to do it. And I actually have another one that I'm working with that is doing creative financing, but not necessarily Revive method. So I think as long as because there's different ways to do it. But if we're trying to do follow along with Casey, obviously they're sticking to that 50% equity to the ARV. But
Those are my other questions for you is, I'm looking at these properties. Did you have like some criteria you were looking before you evaluated, or you're just looking at each property and evaluating it and then calling the wholesaler?
So the way I did it is because, a lot of these websites will list what they want for it. So you kind of look at that, and then it'll also tell you what the ARV is. So a lot of times I'll see what the condition of the house, and that isn't always indicative, but you'll see like the, what they're wholesaling it for versus the ARV. And this one in particular was a huge spread between what they were asking for and the ARV. I was like, that's it's got to be like, just that alone is more than 50%. So just what they were asking for. So it made it an easy call, because the asking price was more than half or less than half of the ARV.
Makes sense.
So
okay, thank you.
That one was easy.
Yeah,
but,
thank you, Martin. That's helpful. Thanks.
Not that you're going to find them all like that, but I look for that. There's a spread between what I'm looking for, trying to be a little sniper, but I should just make phone calls to anybody. Is that
I like the sniper method.
is that spread? If there's a decent spread between the asking and the ARV, that gives you a little better idea what you're looking at.
For sure. Awesome. Thanks for those tips. Hope to be next.
Yeah, and when you're talking to these wholesalers too, right? Like Roy pretty much admitted to me that this was not going to close at 160 cash, right? So you're like, it's a win-win, right? We're coming in and we're going to help him close this deal and convert, because I feel like for a lot of wholesalers, it's a numbers game, right? They're going to send out 100 offers, and most of them probably don't work. But now working with us, it's like, hey, if this actually doesn't work, but to Martin's point, there's the spread. We could help you convert these leads. And I mean, I would say the industry average for a wholesaler maybe converts 20% of the contracts that they get. If they could close 10% more deals, 20% more deals, because we have this method now, oh my gosh, you're going to have wholesalers line up, right? So it's just, you could tell them that when you talk to them too. It's like, hey, I have a way to help you just convert more deals. These cash offers are working. So
perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you both.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Does anybody else have any other questions that we'd like to ask Buck or Asher? Any questions on how to reach out, where to find wholesalers? Everybody have clear knowledge of what their action is going to be? Do y'all feel stuck anywhere? Let me know so I can meet you where you're at.
I do have a question. So how do we, now that maybe this is for all of us here to explain, now that we got the, this first conversation with the seller and they're interested, how do we take it to the next step?
Ooh,
that's how
that process.
That's literally what I was going to jump into next. So when I do this, obviously we've done this on an Underdogs Call or two before, but not everybody's been to every Underdogs Call and seen every minute, right? So, and everybody has different ways of doing this. Some people love to present an offer and then get on the phone and call them. My dilemma is that, and some people won't present an offer until they're on the phone with somebody, and then they'll email it and say, pull it up and go through it right now. For me, that's not my favorite approach. If from time to time you're going to have somebody that feels like it's kind of like high pressure sales, like here's the offer right now, this is how it looks, are you going to sign it, kind of thing, right? So the way we do it is we do it through an LOI. For me personally, I have a little bit of an email script that I use. I create an LOI. So we're using Cohn's property as an example. This is I'm sending Kona contract today because we're going to contract on that property that she brought from Port Orchard. Okay. So we're using Kona as an example here. This is exactly what I did for Cone's deal. This is the LOI. And it goes over that spreadsheet, much like you guys have seen. And then I have a video explanation link. And we've tried this before. I know that you guys can't hear it if I click on it because we've tried it before. But what I do is I go through and I explain that LOI. So I'm going through line by line. The rough idea of it is, I'm just going through making sense of this. So, we have a loan amount listed here. This is that first loan, right? This is the first lien or the mortgage. Then we have the second that's in place. That's $25,000. We have that one listed in other expenses. We're accounting for this to make sure that we're showing you that we're accounting for everything so that we can show you a rough idea of what you're going to get as a net, right? If there's cash at closing, you explain that, right? Cash at closing is really the only line item here that you're going to be receiving on the front end, right? Everything else is a back end transaction. Equity lock, same thing. You're getting this on the back end. The rehab budget, again, something that we're now presenting. In this case, we've agreed to it and giving them the rough, like for example, with this one, we're looking at it as it being more valuable to build out the basement and increase the septic system to be a 4-bedroom system. It's just more profitable for everybody to do that. Okay, so that bumps up the rehab budget. If we were just adding, cosmetic fix to that property, that rehab budget drops somewhat significantly. Closing costs, holding costs, accounting for mortgage payments, utilities, any standard holding cost, right? And then accounting for closing costs. And then I guess the caveat is like, we will be paying for these up front, right? And I know, Mark, we're going to do one of these for you. I think the dilemma that we're going to have is I'm pretty positive I can't be on a Google Meet and use my microphone in a Loom video at the same time. So I'm going to have to do it second, but I'm kind of just giving you guys an idea of like how I would explain this, right? Closing costs, this is going to account for, much like Buck said, there's a front end closing and then there's a back end closing, right? So we're accounting for the closing costs. We're accounting for paying the agents as well. Sale price, this is essentially letting them know what the profit, well, I guess it's doing two things. It's letting them know the scope that is how do I say this? It's letting them know the range that the property could resell for, right? And then based on that resale price, that's starting to determine what the profit is and what the seller will make overall. And then from speaking to Cone's seller with Cone, 3-way call, like same thing. Obviously, we've done it before. Buck just did it, same idea. They were also really looking to see their net as well. So I added a line item there at the bottom that showed them what they would make net. And that is after we pay off these two loans. And so just walking through, $775 to $820 with a profit split of 50%. These are the rough profit estimates that we would be looking at in those scenarios. And this is what you would net, right? And then same thing like Buck did, always a good practice to just let them know if they have any questions, you're happy to answer them. And in your guys' scenario, one of the things you might want to include is, and if I don't know the answer, I'll get it for you because I know somebody who does know the answer, right? Hopefully that helps. And it's a lot of this stuff, much like Casey said, every once in a while, it's much more natural for us. It's something you're going to have to get used to. You're going to be like, oh, that sounded normal. And then you go to try and explain it yourself and you're like, 3 Loom videos in, trying to re-explain it again, right? So definitely understand. And that's where the nice thing is, for example, Cone got to see this and got to see exactly what this looked like. And if she wanted to, she could watch this Loom video 75 times to get used to what I said on the Loom video presenting it, right? And then this, for me, is just an easier way than having to call the seller. But you're probably going to have to speak to the seller again anyways, and unless they're calling you saying, hey, I like it, let's do it. Every once in a while, they're going to have questions. You get the idea. You just answer their questions.
Asher does the looms. I don't do looms. I will do a short synopsis in my email that I attach the LOI to, and I just say, here's kind of how it works. I want them to ask questions, honestly, because if they have questions, that means they have to come talk to me again. And then I get them on the phone again. So the Loom's great too. I haven't done that, but I will do just in the email body, like a quick use Claude or use chat. I'll type it out. It also helps me by typing it out a bunch to nail down my pitch, right? Because I typed it so many times, I could essentially just talk about it now because I've typed it so many times. So you don't have to do a Loom video. I'll do just like a quick synopsis too. And then just use Claude or chat to help you refine the email. So you don't want it to be like a huge page, right? You just want it to be like a quick little paragraph. If they have questions, that means they got to come talk to you again. But I think as far as next, do I need to do anything next on this one, Asher? You got the sheet and everything?
Yeah, I have the sheet. Everything's, I just have to, I don't have the build an LOI process yet. So we're going to build out an LOI and send the email, but, and then I guess, so question for you is, do you want to send it or do you want me to send it?
I was thinking it would come from Martin and Roy. This is their deal, right? I don't want to step on any toes or whatever, but I'd say give it to Martin, have Martin give that to Roy. Martin, if you have any questions on it or explaining it, just let me know. Yeah, and then if they want to hop on a big call, a group call, just text me. That's my personal number there in the chat. You guys can always text me, give me a call if you guys have any questions or want me to talk to a seller or something like that. Just let me know.
Yeah, Martin, so I guess same thing I did with Mark. If you want to present it, I can give you the information so you can present it. I'm not going to write the whole thing out. It's just going to be the LOI, right? And so if you want to present it, go for it. If you would like me to present it, I can present it the way I do. And then just at the bottom, it'll say any other questions, feel free to reach out to Martin or Buck. And I'll list your guys' information instead of mine. Whichever way you want to go with it works for me. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'm willing to help as much as you want or as little as you want. So I don't want to take your reps. So just let me know let us know how to best support you. And then there's also my email for you guys too. If you want to shoot me an email or anything as well, just that's how to get a hold of me.
Awesome, guys. This has been a really good call today. Thank you for sticking around. And we usually go for over an hour. This is an hour call that we have locked in every Wednesday, as you guys know. But once we get into it, phone calls, underwriting, it can easily go over the hour. So I appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out with us for going in overtime. Asher,
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. I'm just curious on the one you're doing with expanding the septic. Is there a escape clause if you can't get the approval to do the septic? Because where we live, and I'm an ex-retired SEO enforcement officer, I know that getting a modification on a septic here where I live in Pennsylvania, you'd have to go get an act of Congress after the original SEO approval. So I was just curious if there's an out.
Yeah, so I don't anticipate that being an issue in Port Orchard, and I guess part of it is I haven't lived in Port Orchard, but I lived in that general area before, and I've fixed and flipped houses myself, and so it is. I have very little trepidation about it, but I'm also Buck could probably attest that I'm pretty good about making sure that I have contract language and stuff that covers
everything,
if you will, right? Because anything you do outside the box, you want to have language for it.
Yep, Asher's very good at that. Attention to detail. On point.
I built new contracts and the attorney approved them. So that's
yeah.
That gives you an idea.
Yep. Cool. So just making sure, Asher, do you need anything from me? I want to make sure I'm not dropping any balls here with Martin.
I don't believe so, but what I will do is I think Martin has your information, and if he needs a call, I'll direct you guys that way. And if he wants any help with the offer from you or I, he'll just let us know.
Cool. But as far as the sheet, I told Boy we would get him and his seller. You don't need anything from me on that, right?
Right.
Cool. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Anybody else have any other questions before we let you guys go?
Thank you so much, guys. No, I was going to say thank you so much. This was a huge help. So looking forward to the next steps. Yeah.
Bring more.
Now, Mike and I need another win tonight, though.
Yes, we do.
Wait. Who are you rooting for? Oh wait, no, never mind. The Ducks played yesterday. I'm a Ducks fan, so.
All right, I gotta run. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Martin.
See you, Martin.
Good.
Good job, Martin.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
That was one of,
What was the additional information that you needed on that Billings property?
You talking about 7809?
Yes. Yeah, I was just looking at the ClickUp.
Right there. Okay. See, look at this. I'm so proud of my AI right now. I didn't even do this. My AI did it. You guys can thank Buck for that. All right. So what it's saying here is share access to the Revive calculator spreadsheet. It looks like you probably don't have access to this. Wait, is that chat?
That's a chat link.
I wonder if that might have Revive link. Oh, no shit. It grabbed the wrong link. Chat AI.
Start over.
Yeah, so that's it. It essentially did both. Both of them failed. That's why I have two messages there. So this is what I received on the Revive rehab estimate. If the dilemma is if you just copy the URL and send it to me, for some reason, this is what it does every time. Now, if you go to basically just go back to it on the side chat, click share, and click copy link and send me that link, and then I'll have access to it. And then the Revive rehab sheet is essentially not shared either, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm sorry, Claude. You're a good boy. Good boy, Claude. Both links are the ChatGPT link that don't work.
So Brian, you'll just go back in there, how he showed you, go to your history, go into that chat, hit share at the top, copy link versus just doing the URL, and then you can pop it over to Asher and he'll be able to evaluate it fully.
Yeah, and then I need the
Okay.
spreadsheet link as well, and just make sure that's shared as well. But yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I tried to correct that after the fact, but I'll send you the direct link that I have.
James, did you have a question?
yeah, I think maybe I have the same situation with Asher because he sent me a message that I needed more information, so I want to know what that was. And it's probably the same thing he just explained. Just need to know for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, I know it is. It's just sharing the Revive sheet link. I can check. I want to say I have your chat GPT. Yep. I think you got guinea pig too. I could be. Oh, no, wait. You weren't part of the guinea pig process, were you? No, you weren't. Yeah.
Shout out to all the guinea pigs.
Hey, we get a deal. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I go to the Revive sheet, it's going to show me that I don't have access. And so especially with underwriting or with AI doing it now, you're going to have things happen like really fast, which is nice. It's just if it doesn't have access, it can't view stuff and get it to the next stage, right? And in order for me to process these things, it's basically only giving me files that are complete. And that's what I get to look at now. It's something that they've wanted me to do to like filter down to more optimize my time. Otherwise, I'll end up with like 8 or 9 out of 10 files having stuff that still needs access and things like that. And I end up spending a bunch of time just reviewing stuff that, I don't have the details for. And trust me, I understand some of the stuff is, especially with everybody has different text levels, if you will. And so sharing a spreadsheet, if you've never even used it before, is a completely new thing. Yeah, it's really, actually, you know what? I can't do it in this one. It's James, you can see what I'm doing, right?
No,
No, you just took the share away.
Oh, God, my tech skills are good too. Here, jeez. Okay. My tech skills
Encouragement. If I can do it, guys, I know I believe in you. You guys can do it too. If I can do it, and I'm like 112 years old when it comes to technology. You guys.
My mom just discovered emojis. So now I'm getting like just emojis like every day.
I love that.
Like not even a hi. She's just like hearts, smiley face. I'm like, Mom, what?
She'd be like, I'm cooking vegetables and send you an eggplant.
Dude, I'm like, Mom, you just discovered emojis and now I like want to take it away from you already.
Revoke those privileges.
That's too bad.
Just wait till Mom sends you an eggplant emoji. That'll make your day. So James is right here. James and anybody else, share in the top right corner right here.
So share.
You're just going to click that guy, and when you do, this is what's going to pop up. And right here, you just change it to anyone with link. If you want to make it editor, that's great. If you want to make it viewer, that's fine. If the way AI is going to be processing this information, it's going to rip this information and do it in my feed anyways. So it's going to stop doing the copy or like duplicate a page. So as long as I have viewer access, I can see the information.
Copy that.
And I'm pretty sure I have your chat GPT stuff. Yep. And I have your chat GPT stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that and James, I really want to work that. I just want to look at the numbers, and I'm really curious to see, because I know you stated where the seller was at with that, and I don't think it's going to be far off. I just need to see what it looks like on your end, and then if I need to make adjustments to it on my end, I can. But yeah,
I mean, I'm excited about it especially because of what Martin just said. The spread is there.
Mm-hmm.
Spread is there. 1, 2. There's no mortgage. So those two elements right there, I think, are pretty good. Based on I'm new at this, but based on what I've been hearing, those 2 points there are pretty good. It's just getting the seller on board.
Yeah.
The program.
Well, and it's real shitty. So the great thing about real shitty is not everybody wants real shitty, and not everybody has solutions for real shitty.
Absolutely. No, I agree. It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so bad that other people have looked at it and said, "Oh no, I'm not gonna deal with that."
Yeah. That's why I think you just trying to meet them halfway, it goes a lot further than you think. Yeah. And 2, if they a lot of times too, and I like to talk, so stop me if I'm going over, but a lot of the times too, I'll plant doubt, because I'm sure there's another wholesaler again that's going to overpromise and underdeliver. And at least for us, we do our homework on the front end so that whatever we offer them, we know we can stand behind it and not waste their time on the back end, right? Because I can't tell you how many times I've talked to sellers at the same time that they're talking to another wholesaler, and I'm competing against their cash offer. And I'm like, look, here's what I'm afraid of, seller. You're going to go under contract with this wholesaler who never intends to close, has never flipped a house in his life. He's going to waste 2 to 3 months of your time and never close. And then you're going to be in the same situation, if not worse, in 2 months because of this guy. And then I just plant that doubt, and then the first call after they filed a contract is going to be you, because they're like, hey, exactly what you said was going to happen happened. Can you help me? So the money's in the follow-up. I would say you're going to get a no. I would just keep checking in. If they go under contract with a wholesaler, the money's in the follow-up, and just be like, hey, I just want to make sure everything worked out on that property. Yeah. I hope it gets sold. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm usually not.
Yeah.
And that just helps separate you from a lot of these phonies, right? I think and I think that's what kind of makes our job a little harder, right? Is you're fighting against a lot of these phonies who, and I would assume the same thing if I was a seller. I would assume that I'm just another one of these dirtbags, right? But, trying to meet them halfway is really where we can kind of try to set ourselves apart, and also trying to get them something that works for them, right? I hear your situation. I'm not going to give you something that won't make sense.
Right. And I try to do that with everything, is put myself on that other side.
Yeah.
With, I got 100 people calling me. What makes you different or special?
100%.
The other 99.
100%. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. James, what is real quick before you mute out here? What is your phone number? I'll call you first before I call her.
It's 904-820-9934.
All right. That number's going on the stall in the locker room in the hockey rink.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
You date yourself, Mike.
All right, Mike. I'm gonna skedaddle.
All right, Buck. Have a good one, man.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
There we go. That was good. You guys got to see that, and obviously, you guys have got to see me make calls. You got to see Buck make calls. You can see the difference in personality. Like, I tend to do ridiculous shit from time to time. Buck is not going to do ridiculous shit. We all kind of have a slightly different approach of how we do stuff, right? Buck's not going to tell anybody he wants to see their shit. I can tell you that. Let's work on wrapping this up here. What are we, 2:45? Okay, yeah. Any other last questions? Anybody else have anything before we go? And I have your offer coming up, and then I have Mark's LI coming up, and then after that, I'm going to be back to the list, just as an update for people.
I had to hop out really quick. I don't know, Asher, if you wrapped this up already, but just like what Asher was showing earlier, if AI is doing it, you guys are going to get feedback really quick if we don't have all the information that needs to be reviewed. So when you guys submit a deal, just review it, check it every so often to make sure it's not missing anything. Because if it's missing something and you don't see it right away, it's going to be a holdup for your deal to be reviewed. So Asher won't even see it until that's all submitted. So when you submit a deal, just check it periodically to make sure there's nothing that's flagged that needs to be resubmitted, share a link or anything like that to make sure all information is in. And that way it fully gets over to Asher because that'll just be a roadblock. So just make sure you check that often whenever you guys are submitting that there. And then as always, if you guys have any questions between now and so Problems and Profits again this week is going to be on Saturday. So if you guys are in sub 2 and want to join us there, we'd love to see you on Problems and Profits. But anything between now and Saturday or even next Wednesday, if you guys need anything, please let us know. I want to be able to help you. So that way when we come into these calls on Wednesdays, we have a really successful call. Like today was awesome. So thank you again, Martin. I don't know if you're still here. Thanks for teeing that one up today. I love to get to see a deal go through the full process. So got to see Asher do the underwriting on that one, got to have Buck on the call with it. I'm talking to like the wholesaler and the seller. So we're just gonna have more calls just like that. And that's our plan for Wednesdays is we want to have ones just like this. So if you guys need help finding deals to bring so we can have calls and underwrite live, let me know. I want to help you. But does anybody have any questions before we hop off? Again, appreciate you hanging tight with us 45 minutes over.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for the last questions to come in, I would just say make sure you download ClickUp on your phone. I tend to use everything on a computer, but I do have my app. Make sure your notifications are on. I have some deals that I'm trying to work. So if you go into a process of need more information, it's going to set a task for me 3 days away. 3 days away, I'm going to follow up if I haven't heard from you, but I am going to send you a message through ClickUp. So if you don't have your ClickUp notifications on, all of a sudden you're just lost in the black hole. And part of this, keep in mind that part of this was like, can we get away from Facebook? And trust me, I thought Facebook wasn't a perfect solution either. But now we have everything housed in one spot. That way you get ClickUp, you know it's deal work, and it's not like just any other email coming to you. You get the idea. So it's all housed in one spot now. It's meant to be concentrated for you. If you haven't heard anything on your deal, you probably don't have your notifications on.
Just to streamline the process for you guys.
That's a whole nother app, you guys. A whole nother app.
Yep.
Okay. But a good one. It's a good one.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys.
You submit your deals there. You get all your updates there, all your information there. You can submit files there. We can have voice chats. It eliminated Facebook, so you don't have to friend request me. And then actually, you know what? I'm going to do one thing really fast. I'm going to share again. So some of the people will have already dropped off, but I made some additions to the form. So now when you go to the form, it's still going to be much of the same thing, all the same information, but One thing that you can do to help get yourself automatically added to the deal is if you are Abraham and you're submitting a deal, you can add yourself. So if you are already in the system and have already submitted a deal, you can now add yourself and it will grab you, add you to the file. It's going to be really seamless that way, which is really good. Unless you're Mark, this system doesn't really like Mark. I'm going to try and figure that out. I'm going to try and delete the other profile or something. For some reason, it has a hard time finding Mark, but I'm working.
So does that mean that when the notification goes out, it goes to both of us? That's what you're saying?
Yes, correctly. So for example, boom, there's James Jacksonville Jacobs. If that's your deal, you just select yourself. And what'll happen is it'll show like at the bottom of the details when it comes in, and it'll add you to that file when it does its sweep.
Nice.
And then we also have a spot here for you to upload documents, especially with things like multifamily. Like I was talking to Mark about one, and he's got some additional information, and those really need to be attachments. And so there's a spot here so you can attach your social security number and your bank account information and all that stuff like that, so I can have a great payday.
That's awesome. Will you show us one more time, Mike, really quick from the framework, how you got to that?
Absolutely. So obviously the first one here is for how to find deals. That's where you're going to find the areas, the scripts, all that stuff. Sorry, areas and how to filter. And then the next one here is the approach, the direct agent script. Then we have the scope. This is going to be the Revive estimator. It's essentially ChatGPT. Then we have this next drop down here is the underwriting calculator. And then finally right here we have, maybe not finally, but there's nothing under this. This is just saying that we're going to review your deal. Under Revive deals, submitting for underwriting approval is right here. And if you don't see this stuff, it's just, you just need to click the caret on this side and you click on it and boom, there's the form, pops up. And all this stuff has like a description to it. So you just kind of follow the description. There's no description for your name because you should know your name. But yeah, it's outside of that, you get descriptions on stuff. You even have, for example, you have a training video right here, especially if this is your first time and you're like, what is all this stuff? This is the training video, goes over the script, goes over how to search, covers, and then we even have like a specific underwriting video. And then we have the document here, the spreadsheet, or sorry, this is the rehab estimator. This is the spreadsheet. And then you just provide those links here. Again, little note here, make sure you share, right? And then additional notes, throw your phone number in there, all your private information. That way I can stalk you and stuff. Yeah, any details that you have in the transaction, right? Conversation wise, anything like that that might help for context. And then we do have create a ClickUp account here. So in case you haven't done that, I would almost do that first, but you can still do it without having a ClickUp account. And then this is to message me directly. And so you can click that link and what you'll see is it goes to my messenger. You'll end up with the same format. You can message me directly right through there, just in case you're having issues trying to submit it or for whatever reason you want to message me, it's right there. And that's it.
Thank you.
It looks like we don't have any other questions. So I think we're good to go.
Sweet. Thank you guys so much. Love getting to connect with you guys. I'll see you guys on Saturday on Problems to Profits, and then again next week. I'll be sharing this as soon as this closes out and it processes. I'm going to drop this recording. Since it was such a good one, I'm going to put this in the network right away. So keep an eye on that. So if you want to see the recording, keep an eye out for that because that's where it'll be. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Athena. Y'all have a great week. See y'all soon.
See you. Bye.